found the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see, yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm just going to get straight into the video. So I've already done my eyebrows. I used the Dip Brow Pomade in Ebony and I used Revolution Concealer in 13.5 to clean it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prime my face. This is a Smashbox primer water. Now I am going to use the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer. Looks like this. Next I am going to colour correct, so I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Orange Corrector. It just looks like this. My bags are terrible, especially now because I'm not sleeping that much. And then I've got this dark area on my mouth as well. Okay, so next I need to set this concealer so that it doesn't budge. So I'm going to use the RCMA Non-Colour Powder. I really love this stuff. The only downside is that it gets everywhere, literally everywhere. My whole trunk of makeup is literally white because of this powder. So just set all those areas. So the first new item I'm going to be trying is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I've been wanting to try this for a while. Then I watched Uche Notori, I hope I'm saying that right. I watched her updated foundation routine. And I've seen a lot of her other videos as well. She's been using NARS foundation. So I thought that I'd finally give it a try because I've had this in my basket for ages. But I've just never gone around to buying it, so I finally got it, and I got the shade Macao. I think that's how you pronounce it, Macao. I think literally nearly every black girl is this shade. So let's hope it actually is my shade. To put this foundation on, I'm just going to use a foundation brush. This is Kiko. Ooh, my hair dropped. This is the Kiko foundation brush in its number 5. Okay, so I'm just going to pump that. It's quite liquidy. So for this part, I'm just doing a voiceover because I didn't feel like I added enough detail. But I'm really liking the first impressions of this foundation. It's not completely matte. Well, it's not matte, and it has the right amount of dewiness. I tend to get quite oily in my T-zone especially, so I don't really like foundations that are super dewy, but this has the right amount. It's just a really luminous type of finish, and I like it. Once I've got everything on top, my skin just looks so good. And the shade is really perfect for me. I use the shade Makeo, like I said, and I feel like it's almost perfect for my skin. It's a bit off, but when it comes to the way my skin is, I tend to not really be able to find foundation that is my exact shade. But for this one, I think it did a good job. As you can see, I'm liking it. And it's blending in really beautifully with the brush. Normally I tend to use a beauty blender, but I didn't feel like I had to with this foundation. I normally use a beauty blender after using the brush just to get rid of any streaks, but this blended in perfectly that I didn't have to go in with a beauty blender afterwards. So I'd say out of 10 for first impressions, I'd give this a good 8, 8.5, because I think I do prefer the Huda Beauty foundation to this one. But I will definitely continue using it just to see how I like it. Now for concealer, I'm using the Born This Way foundation. And this is something that Uche Natori put me on. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I'm in the shade Butterscotch. I saw her using it in her recently updated foundation routine, and I've seen her use it for a while. And I've been wanting to try it because I've heard really good reviews about it. So the shade Butterscotch is literally the perfect highlight shade for me, because I don't like my highlight to be too bright. Plus I have lighter concealers anyway, so even if I did want to make it a bit lighter, then I still could. So I'm just putting it underneath my eyes, on my chin, the bridge of my nose, and my forehead. And then I'm just going to leave that to sink in, which is something that I've recently been doing because I find that it has a much more flawless application. So then I've got my Real Techniques beauty blender, and then I'm just going to spray that with some primer water, because when I was leaving my beauty blender to be damp, I'd find that it would mess up my makeup. So now I just spray it a bit, or I leave it dry and then I'll use it like that. So for contour, I'm also using something new, which is Revolution Concealer in C18. I haven't used this shade before. Usually I use the LA Pro Girl, but I found that the shade that I was using, I can't remember what shade exactly it was, but I found that it wasn't very dark. It wasn't dark enough for me. So I thought I'd go for the darkest shade in the Revolution Concealer. Okay, so let's see how this looks. Wow. Okay, that's really dark. But once I blend it in, it'll be fine. So I'll get my forehead just a little bit. I don't want it too contoured on my forehead. A bit on my chin, and then the bridge of my nose. So we'll start off blending the contour. I'll push it up. And take it towards my temples. And then I'll go down. And get my chin. The thing with Revolution is that you need to be quick because it dries. So with this concealer, you can't really leave it to sit.
Or else you're in trouble if you don't know how to blend. So I'd say it's not really the most beginner friendly. You really have to know how to blend with this concealer. And we'll get the chin. Bring it down a bit. And there we go. And it's blended perfectly. I don't want the contour too harsh because I'm going to put bronzer on top of it anyway. So now we are going to blend in the concealer. I started doing this method recently where I let the concealer sit in. I find that it's so much easier to blend the concealer how I want it to. And it looks a lot more highlighted. So I'm also going to put the Revolution in 13.5 just on my top lip here because I have a darker area on my top lip. So I just use that just to go around my mouth because it's closer to my shade. I don't want this area highlighted. I just want it covered pretty much. Okay, so let's carry on blending. But can you see how it just sunk into my under eye? When the product is literally going exactly where I want it to go. It's just easier to manipulate this way. Then put a bit on my eyelids. Probably should have done my eyeshadow first, but never mind. Now I'm going to blend my nose contour. And there we go. So as you can see, it's blended in really nicely. You don't want to blend it too much. So for the next products, I have finally purchased the Huda Beauty powder. So I got the shade Blondie. So I've heard good things about this powder, so hopefully it works for me. So I'm just going to get rid of any creasing under my eye.
So this is the Huda Beauty baking powder in Blondie, and I really like this baking powder. It has a really nice scent, but then I'm also worried about scented products because I have sensitive skin. So if you have sensitive skin, you may not like this because you have that worry that fragrance products might cause a reaction. But in terms of how it applies, it's a very thin and light powder, so it applies beautifully. You don't need too much. As you can see, it's coming on really nicely, and the shade isn't too much. It just reminds me of Sacha Buttercup powder. I got the shade Blondie, and it just sets into the skin really nicely. I'm setting it in with my beauty blender, and then I'm just going to let it sit there for a while just to bake. So I'm just putting that in all the areas that I had the concealer. So under my eyes, on the bridge of my nose, my chin, my lip area and my smile lines. And then I'm just going to go under my contour also, just to make my contour a bit more sharp. So far for first impressions, I really love this powder. If it wasn't for the scent, I'd probably give it a 9.5, but because of the scent, I'll say it's about a 9. But it's definitely on par with the Sacha Buttercup powder, so I think I'll be alternating between the two because I really do like this. And you don't need too much as well. I only used a little bit. It seemed like I was using a lot, but I barely use that much. So now I'm just using the Ebony Bronze by CoverGirl just to bronze up my face and bring some colour back into my face also. Contoured. And then do my nose as well. Got my eye, use it as a base. There we go. So now I'm going to do my eyes. So for my eyeshadow look today, I'm going to be using the Blue Blood palette. I've had this palette for a while, but I just haven't used it. The shades are beautiful. So I'm going to try a nice blue look. So I'm going to start with the shade Celebrity Skin. Just to use as a base. I have so many brushes, but I literally just use this one brush for my whole eyeshadow look. This is a BH Cosmetics brush. Okay, so next I am going to use, oh, got the powder everywhere. Next I am going to use, I think I'll use Blue Monday, the one with the cloud, on my lid. I think this one's a pressed pigment, so it's probably better to use my fingers. Yeah, it comes out a lot better when I use my fingers. So put that all over the lid. Just blend out those edges. And then on top of that I am going to put Blue Blood, it's on the crown. Just to give it more of a gradient effect. There we go, and then I'm going to put a bit more of that Blue Monday, just to brighten up the colour a bit. Then I'm going to do the same to the other. So underneath the eyes I'm going to use Priceless. Oh, I mean underneath the brows. And there we go. Then I'll do the inner corners later. So, okay, so I did my lashes off camera. I used the, oh, I can't remember the brand. I think it's Dollface Lashes in Stephanie. So I'm just going to take off this excess powder now. So I'm going to use the Sleek blush in Pomegranate. I never used to be a blush person, then tried it once and I never looked back. Set the makeup. So another new product I'm trying is the Benefit Hello Happy Velvet Powder Foundation, and this is in the shade 10. So I'm just going to use that to set the bottom part of my face. Then I'm just going to add a bit more bronzer. So now I'm going to use the primer water once again to get rid of all the powder. So now I'm just going to use my e.l.f. eyeliner and just go over the lash band. I'm not going to do a wing or anything. Then for my inner corner, I'm going to go back in with the Blue Bud palette and I'm going to use Cullinan. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use I'm Cold. So just put that on my finger and put that in the inner corner. Just going to get a pencil brush and I'm going to go in with Blue Monday once again and just put that underneath. Then I'll use my mascara to do my lower lashes. Now for highlights, I'm going to be using Fenty Beauty Matte Stick in Rum for my nose. Then I'm going to add a bit of highlight to my cheekbones. And a bit on my chin. Then I'm going to spray my face again. Now for lips, I received a free sample of Huda Beauty's Demi Matte lipsticks, so I'm just gonna try one. So we've got all of these different shades. So let's see. I'm gonna go with something quite nude. I think I will try Feminist. Okay, so ooh, I love this colour. It's like a nice nude with a pink undertone. I'm just put a lip liner. I think I might need to purchase this one. So then it puts all the attention on the eyes rather than everything else. Yes, I love this colour. See, I'm not usually someone that wears bright eyeshadow. You would probably never catch me in bright eyeshadow. But I actually really like this. And I'm just going to put my beauty marks in. And that is the finished look. So all in all, I think the new products that I tried, I'm really loving them. I'm sticking with the foundation, I'm sticking with the Huda powder, because look at how flawless my makeup is looking, and the concealer as well. It's just got the right amount of highlight that I want. I don't like over highlighted under eyes, but this is literally perfect. The eyes, I like them as well. So yeah, don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.